Good morning and welcome to this edition of the Topical Discussion. With me, Simon Kagwanjala, and I'll be joined by two contenders for the big office, members of parliament for Kawempe South and Kampala woman representative as NUP's vetting process enters the second day. Amidst a lot of tension, amidst a lot of questions, and of course, amidst a lot of hype. But what remains unanswered is how the entire process is going to go, is going to take shape, and two, the dynamics that are playing out in this high-stakes process. Well, joining me this morning is Winfred Nakandi, aspirant for Kampala District Woman, Member of Parliament, and Dr. Roy Semboga, an aspirant for Kawempe South, both on the NUP ticket. Good to have you both, and a very good morning. I'll start with you, Doctor. Very good morning.
Good morning, Simon, and I'm happy to be here.
Winfred, a very good morning.
Good morning, Simon.
How anxious are you as vetting gets along?
I am not necessarily anxious, but as someone who is part of a democratic process where you know you're not the only person contending for that position, yeah, you know, in probability theory, your chances are just you divided by the number of people standing for the position.
Dr. Roy, there is every indicator that the odds seem to be playing against you, given that you're standing against a heavyweight in the party, and the sentiment on the ground points to the fact that you're just out to sabotage the prospects of Nyazi.
I contested for the same position in 2021. By that time, he was contesting against Muhammad Nseleko in Kampala Central. Later on, he changed to Lord Mayor, later on Kawempe North, later on Kawempe South. I don't see that in any way as a sabotage to his prospects, but I think he's a Ugandan like myself. We all deserve and have a right to contest anywhere. Saying the odds are against me, I think you haven't done your homework very well, Simon. I'm a born and raised of Kawempe South, unlike him. I contested previously. In Kawempe South, we have about 13 parishes, 4 of which are in Makerere University, where I was Guild President, and the student fraternity is willing to vote for me. There is a Mulago Hospital, where I spent 7 years studying, and I still pursue the same career with fellow doctors with about 5 polling stations. I was born and raised in Iwaisi. It has about 35,000 voters. I think the odds are against him, not me.
Yeah, but before we go into what gives you an edge, do you have an idea what this entire vetting process is all about and how it will be conducted?
Unlike Winnie and other contenders, I am one of the members that crafted this vetting idea. I'm a founding member of People Power that later on became NUP. So I have exactly, and I know exactly what happens inside vetting. I know what the process takes. I know how we came up with this system. So unlike most of them, I know what happens in there exactly.
Winnie, as you get in there, some of the things that count or that give you points is your popularity on the ground, your loyalty to the party. What else? Do you have a clue on what exactly the vetting process entails?
Yeah, what the ground says about you, basically, because they say the ground takes 60%. So what the ground says about your candidature, and then the issues of the party that take 40%, really those we shall see there when we are before the vetting committee. Because they ask about your knowledge about the party. They ask about the knowledge about the party, your contribution to the party, your loyalty.
You're oblivious to what kind of vetting that you're going to subject yourself to.
No, if you're going for an exam, you cannot say these are the specific questions that I know they will ask. But if it's about party ideology, loyalty to the party, contribution to the party, then there are things that will be around that area.
Some of the allegations that have sprung up speak to favoritism, influence peddling, money, and other factors. Are you aware of this?
I am seeing them on media and social media. I really have not experienced anything like that. For example, I've not been asked for money by anyone in the party. So I cannot say that you need to have money to get the party flag, because no one has asked me for money.
Okay, when you look at the intricacies of the process, do you think what they preach is what is on the template?
Simon, before we go into the intricacies of the process, we need to understand how we got there. Let me give a background, like a person had an opportunity to be part of the process. When we are forming People Power, we are promising Ugandans democracy, where they would vote freely for their candidates. We loved to see that people in Kawempe or wherever from the country choose their leaders freely and fairly.
From the grassroots? From the grassroots.
Unfortunately, we never had an opportunity to experience that. When we tried to register People Power as a party with a constitution that we believed in, that was going to grant people their power to vote candidates, we heard that Balam had reserved the name for People Power to take care of the elderly, so we are unable. All the process, we are frustrated. So like any other smart young people, we found another way out through the system to acquire a party. We acquired a party called NUP. By the time we acquired it, their constitution had the selection process, the one that we have right now. So it wasn't our making to have this process that we are having, but the party we were able to acquire that time could only select candidates, and we just picked on it. After 2021, there were attempts by the party leadership to amend the constitution of NUP to give people what they want. The new constitution was amended and gazetted, but the law requires that once the constitution has been amended and gazetted, they give you about 14 days. If there's no objection, then it is passed. However, when we gazetted the constitution, EC told us they can't pass the constitution. Reason being, there is a court process ongoing, so they're waiting for the court process. This court case has been in court for over 4 years. This is a matter of national importance. This is the second biggest party in the country. There is no way that the court can take that long when it affects so many people's lives. So what I can tell you is that there have been attempts by the party leadership to ensure that a cleaner process is organized. Unfortunately, the party has not been able, because it has been frustrated by the regime.
Yeah, but where it stands is the ground level for all aspirants, or you see a bit of
being honest,
unfair play.
Being honest, people choosing their leaders from the grassroots is the best. But even then, even the best system can also be rigged or manipulated. Now, this process is subject to so many inefficiencies. For example, we are assuming that the team that has been set out to go on ground has capability. In the previous campaign, we had a challenge. The team that was set out to go and search for a particular constituency went to a different area. They went to villages that are not part of the constituency, and we had to redo it again. So this system has its challenges. It is one subject to manipulation. It is subject to other people's interest. For example, if me and Winnie have a different misunderstanding, when I'm given a chance to manage this process, because power is not amongst the few people, Winnie will not get the fairness that it deserves. Yes. Does the process have issues? Yes, it has issues. But what do you want NUP to do? It has tried its level best to ensure that people choose their leaders, but it has been frustrated by the state.
Okay,
so
NUP, do you see a bit of influence peddling in the system?
No, it is possible. Influence peddling is possible. Like I told you, this system is not 100% perfect. Anyone can manipulate it in the way they want. Anyone in a big office can influence it in the way they want. It is possible. But from where I stand, I have not seen it.